This dude must have some secret information on Kendrick Lamar because he is poking the goddamn bear. I'm like, this honestly isn't that crazy of a diss. I think Story of Adidon is easily the best diss of all time. You are hiding a child, let the boy come home, deadbeat motherfucker playing Border Patrol, yuck. We're seeing people like Kenny Mason really digging into the straight rock bag. We're seeing Paris, Texas, which I love that album so much. And they made you want to be friends with them. They had so many different forms of content outside of music. And To Pimp a Butterfly, I think, is the best album ever created. I think this is Kanye in his peak form of like that backpacker rap. Tommy Richmond, Selfish, the new song. This guy is Michael fucking Jackson. Welcome back to the SoundCentric podcast. I am your host, Adam Dash, and today we are once again joined by just me, but there are some great interviews lined up to happen for the rest of April, rest of May, and we are only growing from here. But today, we got another mailbag episode. I reached out on Twitter and asked some of y'all, what are some questions you'd love to hear me answer? So we are going to go through that. But first, let's start with some of the big news that happened in hip-hop this week. I made one of my emergency press conference videos about it, but Drake responded to Kendrick Lamar again with Taylor Made Freestyle, and it is hilarious. It is so funny, and I want everyone who is so against AI, which, hey, I hate seeing it in music too, just take a step back, take a deep breath in, and realize how funny it was. I mean, people are starting to try to compare it to the Kendrick, the Heart Part 5 video. It's not the same thing, so credit to Kendrick Lamar fans there. It's not something they can compare across things. It wasn't AI. On the other hand, people are trying to say that, I get it that Tupac is no longer here to give his wishes, and he didn't get permission from Snoop Dogg, but he's also not making money from this. And I think people are missing the point and are saying Drake should have said that diss with his own words. I mean, guys, he was rapping from their perspective for a reason. The whole joke around it is that first off, the whole week was, is this AI? Is this AI? He's making fun of that. Secondly, Kendrick Lamar has a whole album where you find out at the end of the album he was secretly talking to Tupac the whole time. That's the point of the joke. And then also, Snoop Dogg famously told him at the House of Blues, I am passing the torch for you. That is also the joke. So to anyone who is not seemingly understanding why he rapped from those two perspectives and said Drake could have said it himself, that would have made no sense. And I mean, it's hilarious. This dude must have some secret information on Kendrick Lamar because he is poking the goddamn bear. Because Kendrick is, as we say, he's the boogeyman. And I'm a J. Cole stan, but it's hard. I'm not going to defend him here, but I will say, I think him retracting his diss, people are giving too much credit to like that and Kendrick Lamar for, rather than saying, I think Cole just shot himself in the foot. And this was hilarious, and Drake clearly must know something. He really wants Kendrick to respond. I do think it's fair that Kendrick can take his time, and maybe the media cycle was covered by Gangsta T, who sold 2 million this week, which is insane. And it was hilarious that he was saying that Taylor Swift is the new top. But everyone, just take a deep breath in and understand why he used AI. It wasn't to make a hit song using The Weeknd and Drake's voice. It was to go about this diss in a creative way. So that's going to lead us into our first question by my guy, Mavi. Name is Mavi on Twitter. Amazing content. Love him. He asked me, Adam, what is your fave diss track of all time? And after Taylor Made Freestyle came out and 50 Push-Ups came out, I went through some of the most famous disses we've ever seen. I'm talking No Vaseline. I'm talking Takeover. I'm talking Ether. I'm talking, what's the third one called that Jay responded back? Super Ugly. And Lupe Fiasco's diss on Royce to 5'9". And going back to Control, which separate debate question, I think Big Sean has the best verse on Control. And this answer is clearly biased because it's an opinion, but also it's biased because a diss that I was alive for on Twitter for it's going to have a deeper impact on me. So going back to listening to Ether, I'm like, this honestly isn't that crazy of a diss. It's a lot of homophobic remarks on Jay-Z, but I don't think it's anything like that crazy. And I wasn't there in the moment. It's like in that time, Jay-Z's the king. Nas has a few albums that are flops. He drops Takeover. It looks like he's got Nas on the ropes. And Nas comes back with a song that has a very catchy chorus, which I think is how Drake has been playing this whole battle is that he constantly makes disses that have catchy choruses that you want to replay. So they're good songs on top of the fact they're good disses, like back to back. So Ether has a really good chorus, goes hard, but Super Ugly's way meaner. I listened to that, I'm like, oh, I mean, I feel like that would have won the battle. I know Hove apologized and his mom made him apologize, but I don't think Ether's that crazy. No Vaseline's great. And I firmly believe, and it's a hard opinion to have because I understand I am a white person. I think Story of Adidon is easily the best diss of all time. And people would love to say, it's just because he exposed secret information and you are hiding a child. Let the boy come home, deadbeat motherfucker playing Border Patrol. Yuck. But it's not just that. He came at Drake's, and this is the part about being a white person that it could be weird for me to discuss this. He came at Drake's entire identity crisis, coming from just the album cover itself is a good diss. And talking about how always afraid your fro didn't nap enough, coming at his whole family dynamic. How are you a winner, but Sandy keeps coming in last place? And not just the son part, but saying, since you chose to name drop my fiance, let him know who you chose as your Beyonce. Sophie knows better as your baby mother. Cleaned her up for IG, but the stench is on her. It is mean. It is a mean diss. And I see people saying, Push didn't win that battle because Drake is still here. Since when does ending a career have to be what happens to win a battle? I think because of the Meek situation, even though his career is still fine, because he came back with the whole jail sentence stuff, people think that your career has to end. Yo, Nas is still here, Jay-Z is still here, Dr. Dre's a billionaire, Ice Cube's in movies and making millions and has his own basketball league. None of those guys' careers are ended. Lupe Fiasco is here, Big Sean is here. Like anyone who's dissed Ja Rule, I guess you could say career ended, but I mean he's still kicking it. So I think that's a stupid way to win to say who wins a battle. Drake didn't respond. Push came out with the hardest diss ever. That's a W in my book. So I am a Story of Adidon truther. I don't think it was just the baby part. And that's fucking crazy. We just found out the biggest pop star in the world had a kid. That was insane. So, Story of Adidon, that is my choice. Mavi, shout out to you. Okay, next up, my guy Abi the Nomad asked me, what's the best rap rock crossover? Is it Limp Bizkit, Rage, the one random Black Keys album? And so I think rap rock, if you want to call it that, is having a huge revival. We're seeing people like Kenny Mason really digging into the straight rock bag. We're seeing Paris, Texas, which I love that album so much. Everybody's Safe is my favorite song. That shit's crazy. There's people trying to kill me. Crazy song. They are really reviving that rock rap sound. And it has to be known that rock rap is the foundation, one of the foundations of hip hop. The way I grew up, my dad loved Run DMC and he loved the Beastie Boys. So like, the king go rock, there ain't nothing higher. Sucker MCs will call me sire. And that's the foundation of hip hop. One of the foundations. Obviously, it started on breakbeats with Curtis Blow. But rock has always been an important part of hip hop. And it was there in the beginning. Beastie Boys, fire. So to talk about what I think some of the best crossovers are, I mean, I feel like it has to be Jay-Z, Linkin Park, that album. I think it's especially cool since there's like that whole documentary on it where they show them making it. And it's cool to see how Jay-Z goes about it. I mean, 99 Problems, if we want to pick a specific song, insane. Also has a video with Rick Rubin breaking down how they made that. It's really cool. But I think that Jay-Z, Linkin Park would probably be the best crossover. But I love what we're seeing now with rappers really experimenting with rock and rap. I feel like Rico Nasty has that voice where she can really do that in a great way. Oh, Doechii, her new song, insane. She has some really hardcore songs with her voice. I think it's really hard not to come off cringy doing rock rap. So you really have to have that voice to do it. I think Kenny Mason has that voice. Those AG Club kind of has that vibe to it. I think Paris, Texas are killing it. And they have a really cool way of going about it. So I would definitely shout out those artists. Next up, Grim for Prez, 2024. He said to me, any projections for the underground scene over the next few years? So I think that, and we've been saying this for a while, I think in the music industry that independent artists, that's going to be the more common thing now. I think record labels are slowly losing more importance by the day as artists can make music from anywhere they want. They can go viral randomly without the help of a label pushing behind them. The labels do serve a purpose and they can be great for certain artists, but I think independence will continue to be the wave. People forming their own collections. For example, CXR's got Chris Patrick, Dende, um, Billy Blunt, and they've been killing it with their collectives. I think I can see that happening more. And there's a question. It's the next question. Favorite rap crew of all time. But I think rap crews would be really cool to see that make a comeback. And I think I stand by saying Twitter, X, is the best platform for music, especially the underground scene. So many amazing curators who are doing it out of the love for the game and not doing it for a paycheck, who are putting on for some amazing artists. So I think we're going to continue to see artists breaking out of the underground. And we talked about this last time. I think we're done seeing superstars. I think it's over. But we're going to see huge artists. And I think more niche fan bases. And so like, there's people like Jack Harlow who are kind of like almost superstars. And I think he goes about his career in an amazing way. His team is amazing. They've marketed him perfectly. But I think it's hard to appease as many people now that we know so much about artists. Back then, you had no clue what people fucking did. And now you know everything they do. Gives you more reasons not to like an artist. So I think we're gonna see more niche fan bases take over, and maybe a resurrection of the importance of small club shows as artists now seem to skip steps. I feel like Dr. Evil. Skip steps in that their first show ever is on a Rolling Loud stage and they don't know how to perform. I think maybe the resurrection of those really small, intimate shows will be dope for hip hop. Hope that continues. And I think we're seeing more independent platforms, such as me. As the institutions start to crumble, we're seeing like Complex being sold and Sports Illustrated and all these huge platforms that we used to all go to for information. We're seeing independent curators just being so important to the underground scene. So I think the underground has some fire coming, some amazing artists that are all over my Twitter feed that I try to support as much. There's people on TikTok that I find that I'm like, damn, I wish they were on Twitter. Every artist should be on Twitter. This is a unpaid sponsorship. But yeah, underground, it has been great. And I cannot wait to see who continues to come out of it. And to follow up what I was kind of saying in there, my guy, Hellblazer, shout out to you, bro. He asked me, what's your favorite rap crew of all time? So I'm guessing crew is different than group. So we're not saying like Tribe Called Quest here. I think it is between Odd Future and Griselda for me. I think if you're asking strictly on my enjoyment of the group's music, which I guess should be what the question is, I would say Griselda. I've been a huge Conway fan. I think Boldy's slowly become my favorite. Benny, didn't love the new album, but Benny, obviously amazing. Westside Gun, amazing. I'm not sure if Stove God Cooks is Griselda, but let's just throw him in there. I can't wait for the follow-up to Reasonable Drought. Fucking insane debut album. That's going to be crazy. Who else is in there? Armani Caesar, dope artist. So I think Griselda's killing it on the music front. But my favorite all around, I think it's so important as a fan and as an artist who's building. You can make it off music and be just a mysterious artist, but I think you want to create a vibe where people want to be friends with you, especially for this question of favorite rap crew. And I think that's what Odd Future caught that spark of magic. And they made you want to be friends with them. They had so many different forms of content outside of music, TV shows, skits, funny shit. They had so many people in their collective that weren't just musicians. And I think they're probably the most successful rap crew we've ever seen because all of them are onto their own things, being so successful. You're seeing Taco on TV. You're seeing, forgetting his name, but he's on that cooking show. He's killing it. Earl killing it. Frank Ocean, one of the best artists of all time. Tyler, one of the best artists of all time. Domo Genesis, fire rapper. They're all just doing their own. Sid, the internet crazy. I guess Steve Lacy's not really a part of Odd Future, but kind of like on that side. So they've been fucking killing it. Trying to think of any other rap groups. Brockhampton was dope for the time being. They're not my favorite rap crew by any means, but I thought they also created that aspect of I want to be friends with those guys. And I think more artists could go down that route. And I actually tweeted this about a J. Cole post because it was a post about how it was a video of J. Cole releasing 2014 Forest Hill Drives. And I think a lot of artists go the mysterious route instead of showing the process between things. Show us that you're human. Show us being nervous releasing your album. I like the video of Travis Scott getting the Drake feature in the Astroworld video is so sick because you're getting to see his real human reaction. So I think artists, every single step of your album process is content. And this is so separate from what the original question was. But I want to preach that. Every step of your way can be content. Something so little as getting the feature, thinking of the album title, doing the sequencing of it, to your first performance of the album, to the day you release it, everything is content. So yeah. 704 Prod, what up? He asked me, what's your favorite album of all time? So instead of giving you just one, I got 5. And this is kind of the order. You know, different days call for different albums, different vibes. I've usually stated that To Pimp a Butterfly, I think, is the best album ever created. But it is a really deep, intricate listen. So it's not something you can kind of just passively listen to. But I think it is the best album ever created in music. After that, though, 2014 Forest Hill Drive. I'm trying to also keep this to one album per artist. So like For Your Eyes Only might be in there, but I think it's 2014. That's probably my second favorite of all time. Late Registration. I think it's Kanye's best album. Probably the best beats on an album ever. Drive Slow. Like Paul Wall. Open up my mouth, sunlight illuminates the dark. Crazy album. Peak Kanye rapping. I think College Dropout, clearly amazing, classic. I think this is Kanye in his peak form of like that backpacker rap. Number 4. This is someone already asked me that. Yeah, this is gonna answer a question down the line. Because my guy who asked the question, Zona Jetson, asked me favorite Tyler album. So this is gonna answer it right here. Flower Boy, the album to my right. You can kind of see in camera. That is my favorite album. Favorite album by Tyler. And I was between that and Call Me If You Get Lost, which holds a deep place in my heart for where I first listened to the album and the memories I made with it. But Flower Boy is just a perfect album. I've always said this, but Tyler has that ability, like Kanye, to find the perfect features. And you got just like Kali Uchis on this, Frank Ocean, Jaden, fucking, why am I blanking on the white guy's name? You guys know who I'm talking about. He's amazing. And Tyler just has that ability to find people to do the bridges and kind of cover up where he can't do things. So I think Flower Boy was the peak of him. And not peak of him. He's going to come back with an even better album. And Call Me If You Get Lost, Igor, incredible albums. Ruben, one of the best platforms for supporting artists all over Twitter. Shout out to him. Huge inspiration for me. Check the rhyme if you see that handle. He asked me, do you manage the content creation along with a day job? If so, how do you find the balance? So I guess to give a little more insight about myself, I've kind of mentioned this in some of the interviews and some of my shit. I graduated last year from Ohio State, right there on that flag. And I have been looking for my first job in the music industry for the past year. It has been a long process, and I knew it was going to be hard, and it has been so much harder than I even thought that would be. And constantly doing networking calls and constantly going to industry events and doing things like this have really kept me passionate about music every day and has seemed to actually be a possible career path that I can go down. So I'll say it isn't too hard to balance when you are doing just a part-time job and still looking for your first full-time career. But there are those days with imposter syndrome and days where I don't want to make content and days where one of my pieces of equipment isn't working and you're just like, fuck this. And days where people, it doesn't seem like they appreciate the work you do, but it only makes it so much better when someone does appreciate the work you do and when you can make someone's day and when you can support an artist in any way and that they truly appreciate it. The days where people do love your content. So it's a constant battle. You got good weeks, you got bad weeks. My brother lives by this saying, sorry, Jared, if I say this wrong, the rule of thirds. He said 1/3 of the week, you should feel good. 1/3 of the week, you should feel great. 1/3 of the week, you should feel good. 1/3 of the week, you should feel bad. Like that's just kind of like the natural way of life and trying to keep that balance. Sometimes you're riding too high. Sometimes you're really low. And that's been a constant battle throughout this year. It's been way longer than I thought it would be. And my passion hasn't dipped a second. So I can't wait to see whatever opportunity I get. And then from there, I will have to balance my time more. And I think sometimes when you have time constraints, you actually do work better. Sometimes when you have all the time in the world and you're an entrepreneur, it could feel like you do less work or you're worse for your time. Maybe you're going on Twitter more. I am afraid to look at my Twitter screen time. I don't ever want to do that. But yes, that can be a hard task, but I love building SoundCentric. This has been the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life. So, might cry. Thank you for anyone who has enjoyed this and has sent words of encouragement to me, who has literally watched anything I've ever made and engaged with it, followed me, liked something, enjoyed a take. This is my favorite thing in the world, talking music, and I will continue to do it no matter what happens. Last question from Sir Shams, my dog. He asked me, best album out of Chicago of all time, and then what about since the 2020s? So, like I said, late registration. So if we're doing no Kanye, because I think Kanye would have all of them. B by Common. Love that album so damn much. Some of the best instrumentals, beats ever. Common, probably peak Common skill. Love that album. That was like also when I first heard this, I was really into storytelling. So a song like Testify was so cool. But my favorite song is probably I'm not doing myself favors. Oh, This Is Your World? The last song of the album. This is your world. That song is insane, and the Jay Dilla beat is crazy. And Kanye laces this album up with some of his best beats of all time. I really love They Say with John Legend and Kanye, because I think Kanye's verse is crazy. So please don't give me any records I can't sample. Great verse. And the best album since the 2020s, I'm going to go with Mick Jenkins' The Patience. I think this is such an incredible album, and I am definitely late to the party on Mick Jenkins. I tweeted this a couple months ago. Shit, time's flying. I was upset. Oh, Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap would also be my top 3 if I can only choose one per artist. I was really, really the biggest Chance the Rapper fan in the world in 2012 when I was 11 to like 14. Still love Chance. Can't wait for this new album. But didn't really listen to Mick Jenkins for some reason. So I didn't listen to The Waters till a few months ago. People were going crazy about that. Some people were so happy. They're like, I wish I could experience that for the first time. Some people said, how could you have a platform? You never listened to The Waters. And I'm sorry, guys. It was amazing. And I wish I listened to it when I was 14, because I would have even loved it even more, because that was my peak Chicago rap fandom. But this new album, The Patience, fucking love it. It's so damn good. And now I just wanted to use this space to shout out some music I really loved recently. Byrie just came out with her new album, Fire Siren. She told me she's been working on this since 2017, I think she said. And that's amazing. I think I haven't posted music in a while, but I can really empathize, because I do make music. And I will be dropping soon. With the feeling that you get when you finally release music, it is scary, but it is also the best feeling. I get that feeling when I drop a podcast. So congrats to her on finally dropping that album. And not my guy. I want him to be my guy because he's fucking amazing. Tommy Richmond, Selfish, the new song. This guy is Michael fucking Jackson. He had my favorite song on the Brent Faiyaz album, and I'm like, who is this guy? And then I loved his song Soul Crusher, and Selfish is amazing, and $1 Million Baby, which he's dropping on Friday, has been going crazy. It's every other TikTok I see, so I can't wait for that one. And there's so much good music coming. I started doing management. Big announcement for Andrew Kelly. Dude is a classic on the way. And I'm not just saying that because I'm managing him. I just think this motherfucker is so good at rapping. Bluff came out with a new song. He's also featured on a new song. I'm sorry to not write it down. I'll put it up here with the name. That's been crazy. Kieran the Nomad, great. Fucking killing it right now. Reed Starks just dropped 202 Report. Mike Quill is dropping a new song with Geogenesis, who also amazing. Morgan Gold, also amazing. All friends of the show. Can't wait for that song, Mike. Who else on the top of my head, because I didn't write it down? Who has been dropping? The Big Sean song's really good. Jordan Ward is like my favorite artist. He is so damn good, and Player 2 is incredible. And like usually movie soundtrack songs aren't great. Incredible. And yeah, let's end it on that, because Jordan Ward is the fucking man, and he's coming out with a new song with Saba. I think that's going to be crazy, because the No ID Saba project is dropping soon. They thought we forgot, and we are back up. And no, let's do a little shout out to Chance the Rapper. People have been clowning him, and he didn't go about the big day the best way. I think he let that negativity and hatred towards him sit for so many years, instead of quickly responding with amazing music that we know he can make, and just having one bad album. It's okay. It's okay to have a bad album. You bounce right back. So I think Chance has got it. We'll see what happens. What else coming? No Worries. Can't wait for the album. Smino teased a new song. Sounds amazing. And that's good enough. So thank you if you took time for this solo episode. Next week, can't wait for who I'm interviewing. I'm going to announce it soon. One of my favorite albums of the year, EPs. I didn't shout him out because we'll keep it a secret. But I've been praising him all over social media. So when it comes out, you'll know that was who it was. And we got just even more stuff coming for you. Trying to make more content. If you ever got suggestions for me, hit me up. Please let me know how I could be better. If you ever got music dropping, please hit me up. I'd love to try to give it a listen. I'm a human, so we'll get to it when we get to it. I'd love to help you guys. And yeah, we shall see you next time. Peace.